So welcome to Wowing Learners with Wikis. And this is a free webinar, 30 minutes every Friday on a different topic. Next week, we'll talk about cooperative learning. And this week, we're talking about Wowing Learners with Wikis. And all of these are recorded, and you can find them on the wiki page that I have at the bottom. So you can find it at technologyforkids.pbworks.com wikis, which is a wiki of mine. And that'll give you several of the links, including if you have any sources that you recommend. If you can put it just in the notes section, which is on the right side, all you do is you click on the notes, and then you can add your Twitter address, and then you can also add any helpful sites that you know of for the topic. So today we're doing Wikis. And I'm Shelly Terrell, by the way. So why Wikis? Well, first of all, what's a wiki? A wiki is basically a free educational website, but it goes beyond the website because with wikis, especially if you get an educator account, you can embed different things in the wiki. You can embed things, and by embedding, I mean you can put different types of tools in there. For example, you can add YouTube videos, you can add PowerPoint slides, you can add wall wisher. So anything with an embed code, you can pretty much add to it. You can add Glockster posters. So it makes it very, very easy to use. Now, I think that it's much easier than having a Google site, but it's maybe my experience. So those of you who have Google websites, you'll be able to tell. Now, I use Wiki. I have a wiki for my 5 to 10-year-olds. And then I also have a wiki for adult students. And I have a wiki for high school students. So I'll show you each of those and the different ways that I use them. So another reason for wikis, it's a great way, first of all, to get parents involved for kids. It's also a great way to show parents exactly what you're doing in the classroom. And I definitely believe in transparency. I think that teachers, a lot of times, the parents don't understand what's going on in the class. And what happened to me was that one time a parent came into the class and got very upset at me and said, my daughter says that you only have them do textbook work. I'm not a textbook teacher. I don't usually have them. But the child had some problems earlier within the year, discipline problems. And so I started using Web 2.0 tools about that time because I wanted to make sure that the parents saw exactly what we were doing in class, which we were doing very creative things, like we were making videos, we were having them do digital storytelling, things like that, and I hadn't put it in a place. So Wiki is a great place to show parents what you're doing. It's also a great place to have parents participate and also see things. The difference between a wiki and a blog is linear, which means that whatever you put up first, the most recent thing you put up will be the thing that shows up first. So if you just did a project, when you add that to a blog, it automatically pushes it up front. It's the first page. But with a wiki, you can actually make several pages. You can use different templates. You don't have to have the same template for each page. And on top of that, it's not linear. It's whichever way you want the content. So you can do like a table of contents and tabs, and you can make it that way. So that's the difference between the wikis and blogs, and that's why I prefer wikis. Motivation. It's really great for kids. In the classroom, we don't have enough time to cover everything. So what happens is that you can have different things that they actually WordPress would actually, okay, so Kevin has a question, would WordPress be a wiki then? WordPress is a blog, would be considered a blog. But they do have some plugins for WordPress. I know the paid version that would make it more, more easier to use than and making it, especially the Buddy Press plugin that makes it a little bit more interactive. Um, Now, Wikis, it extends learning beyond the classroom walls. My students, they love, actually, they do the activities. I never say homework. I say these are challenges for you, and you can explore them outside the class, but they're optional. Optional. They don't have to do them, and they're not graded. But 90% of the students will do them, and pretty much, actually, 100% will do them. They just won't do them all the time. So for example, I may get 80% that do them, but 100% do them. So it's a great thing to work with. The next one is it's very interactive. You can make them very interactive. The students don't just have to read text or anything like that. They can actually do things on them. Um, Now for adults, there's other reasons for adults. I use them with adult students or much older learners. So maybe not the parent participation, but it also gives the adults extra practice. I have some courses, and it's not very long that we get to do all the practice that they want. I work with language learners, so my learners, they want to, some of them need help with speaking, some need help with listening, some need help with grammar. So with all these different things that they need help with, I think a wiki is really great. So I give several different tasks in the wiki for whatever theme or subject that we're covering. And that's how I organize my wikis. We can cover more ground this way. That way in class, it can be very interactive. We can speak, we can do all the fun things. And then my students, if they want to do drilling, which they do, they want to take quizzes, the adult students, they're used to learning this way. So I do put some of those activities in the wiki as well, because this is what, if they want the drilling, then they can do this at home, and they do it. So that's really great. Individualized learning. And then also at the end of the year, if you have students that have to take a test, university, students, business students, English language learners, then they have everything that you covered within the year in a review. So I think that's really great, because then they don't have to go through notes or anything like that. They might have lost their notes, they might have gotten crumpled up, things like that. Instead, they have this all digitally. So they can actually take that information and they can manipulate it any way they want, the best way they can learn. So I think it's really fantastic for that reason. Um, Doubled it. Wow. Okay, so now we're going to see wikis in action. Now I'm going to need a little help here, because once I take the screen off, you're not going to be able to see my face anymore. You'll just see what's on my screen. So hopefully everything goes smoothly and you're not knocked off. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And this usually takes a few seconds. You get to see my desktop. And can everybody see my desktop? Okay, great. Okay, so this is the technology for kids, a wiki. But this has wiki resources on many things. And it also has lessons here. Like, for example, Tom Barrett, he's really great with giving different Google Docs with lesson ideas. So you can get some lessons here. But what I would like to show you is the different ways that I have wikis. Now, there's two different types of wikis that I use. I use Wikispaces. This is my, and I use PBWorks. Now, this is my PBWorks wiki. I love PBWorks wiki. This is the one for kids. Now, notice how I already embedded things. Okay, so let's say that you take a wiki that you you see a wiki template that you enjoy. Maybe you contribute to a wiki. You can always contribute to my wiki. I'm very open source. I believe in Creative Commons. It took a lot of work to do this wiki, but I really believe in saving teachers time. So if you like any of the ways that I organize my wiki, you're more than welcome to join the wiki, and I'm going to show you how you can actually copy the templates. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up here to edit. Now this is free for educators. And notice I have no ads in this wiki. That's why I love using PB Works. You get to do a name. I call this English Story Time. So I'm going to go to edit. Now let's say I want to make this wiki. Well, let's go back to view real. Okay, so let's go back to view really quick because at the bottom is where you can save, things like that. Okay, so I want to copy this page. So what I do, because I already set up this template, I already took the time to do this. So I just go to copy this page. Hopefully everybody saw that. And then I go to copy. And I can call it anything else. But notice how I no longer have to create this template anymore. I already made this page, so this is something that I want to do. Now I can call this whatever I want. It's called copy a front page right now, but I can add everything right here. Now, when I do this, all of these, notice the green parts, all of these are widgets that I embedded. So you can add the text right here. And this is just the simple text editing. It looks a lot like any type of website or a blog or even Microsoft Word that you work with. You have bold, underline, different types of fonts, things like that. Now let's say we want to add a widget. I add Google Translate. And the reason why I add that is because I work with language learners, so their parents, in case the parents don't know the English, for the instructions or something like that. Okay, so to add that, to add any type of widget, all you have to do is you go up here and you go to Insert. And under Insert, you can do different things. You can add a link, you can add a table, so you can make this a bit different. You can also use a table of contents, which I find very useful, and I'll show you what that looks like in a little bit. You can add a YouTube video. You can, if you go to Other, you can add Vimeo. You can add Flickr, anything you want like that. And then you also have plugins. Now, I really like the plugins because they have here PowerPoint slides. You can add footnotes. You can add Google Gadgets. So you can add things like a map, a calendar, any type of widget that you've seen on a blog, you can add on a wiki. Photo slideshow, a teacher tube video, a Voki speaking avatar, which is what you saw earlier. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this out, and I'm going to show you a different thing. Now the sidebar, notice how everything is by theme. That's the way I like to set up my wikis. I like to use the sidebar to show different themes. Now, I'm the one who added the sidebar like this. So the sidebar I can make look any way I want. Let's say I don't want it to look like that. Let's say I want to add like, for example, let's highlight it. And I can do that. Let's see, I'll make it yellow. So I can make it yellow, or let's see, I can highlight it so that way it looks like a button. I can do anything I want with it this way. So it's really simple. You can see how it's pretty simple. The little map that I had at the end, the world map, I found that under a widget and I just added it. If you want to add something else that, for example, you don't see, just go to Insert and go to HTML JavaScript, and then just copy and paste the embed code. That's how you do it. So I'm going to cancel that. Now I'm going to show you another type of wiki. So this is my children's wiki. And the reason why that I like, one of the things I always like to put in all my sideboards is return to the home page, because that's not something that's easily recognizable by people. To create a page, I can just simply go like this. To create a page, you name your page anything you want. I'm going to put test. And I'm going to use a template because they have free templates here. Now, you can do something like activity tracking, assignments, course, meeting agenda. I'll put a syllabus. You can create folders, but I'm not going to do that right now. And automatically, it will have headings for you, and it does a template for you. All you have to do is you go in and then you add the information. So then that's my syllabus for the class. See, that took less than 1 minute to do. So very easy to do here. And then you can just add whatever the topic is. I'm going to click save so you can see what this looks like. And here, this is what it looks like. The table of contents. Now, this was a widget. And the widget is really easy to use for the table of contents. All you have to do is click edit. You see table of contents here. Table of contents, the way it works is anything that you add as a header. So if you highlight the text as a header, so for example, this is normal. So if I highlight it as heading 3, then it'll show up in the table of contents. Heading 1 is the first in line, and then the second level is heading 2, third is heading 3, and that's how you do it. So then we'll save it, and then you can see what that looks like. And there you have it. See, learn written, conversational French, and then you have it right here. So it's really easy to do. Another great thing is students can actually put papers up in the wiki. Now let's say that you want all of your students to add work on the wiki. That's fantastic. The way you do that is you put invite more people. Oh, by the way, you can make your wiki private. You don't have to make it public. Mine's is a public wiki, but you don't have to make it public. You can make it private. And then you can, right here, if your students don't have email addresses, create accounts for your students. So you can even create the accounts for them. You decide the permission. You can make them editors, writers, readers, page level only. You are the administrator. So if you want other, for example, teachers and stuff like that, or the students, they can even be administrators themselves. I usually tend to make people editors and writers. If I don't know them, I make them readers. And then I see how they comment and things like that, because sometimes you do have to be careful adding people you don't know, because then they might be spammers. So you just easily add somebody's email there. I can add my email. And then that person will get it in their email, and then they'll be able to edit the wiki. Now, when you do that, the students themselves, they can click edit. And let's say that they want to add a paper. So I'm going to go to Wikipedia. And let's see, Wikipedia, and let's look up something. Testing. We'll do something like that. Okay, so I'm just getting this from Wikipedia. And let's say, for example, that this is something that I'm adding inside the document. And I'll show you in a little while why I'm adding this. Okay, so I'm going to save. Okay, well, you can also check for plagiarism. So that's really great. And then, so whatever, if I was to show what was in my wiki, if I was supposed to copy this and then I go in to check for plagiarism, then I would notice that it was on Wikipedia. So I think that's really nice. It's a better way to have I think it's a better way to have students, especially if it's private, to have them write essays and stuff like that. You can create as many pages as you want. Um, and it's, I think there is actually a limit of information you can actually put on the page though, so you have to be careful. So for example, I would recommend that, and then you just go to pages and files, and then you can see all the pages and files here. Now I would recommend, because you do have a limit, since it's free, you have a limit of all of this memory and information that you can add to one page. I did have a friend who hers was actually some of the information she had to go back because she had gone over her memory of the information. So you don't want to put too much in one page. Another thing I like to do, this is the wiki that I use with my friend Aske. She's the one who helped me with this wiki too. We both run this wiki. And you can see all the tools and things like that. But so this one's set up a little bit better, easier and differently. This one I actually got smarter. I added little buttons that I created on PowerPoint. Very easy. I have a Boki on here too, which speaks. And I put a little about the creators. Now, this isn't a teacher one. This is a teacher wiki. So this is what this one looks like. And all of them, when you click on it, I have the table of contents. But one thing that I also like to add on all of these pages, I don't have it on that one, but Blockster. Is if you add a lot of information, so let's say you go here. I went to Glogster tutorial, and that's what it took me to. I like a back to the top button. It's basically anchors. So then it leads me back to the table of contents. So that's one thing that I would recommend as well. So that way, when people, let's say they want to go to the Glogster examples, okay, so they click there, they go to Glogster examples. Well, they want to go back to the top to explore the page. So then by adding the back to the top button, it's really easy for them to go back and navigate. Okay, so you saw some of the things with the kids. Now I'm going to show you a different one. This is Wiki Spaces. This is my adult students. Now, this is how I set up the assignments and stuff for the adult students. I use Boki for both, as you can see. This is the week's assignments after they listen to the conversation between the two Bokis there. They can go to, and I do this because some of the adults, the kids can navigate very easily, but some of the adults, they're not used to the way using wikis. My adults, I mean, some of them are from 40 years old to 81 years old. So if I want them to be able to use this, I explain really quickly, and show them and stuff like that. But that's why I have things like big buttons that say this week's assignments. That's also why I spell out the links, because some of them, even though the word is highlighted, they don't realize that that's a link. But if they see the HTTP, they know that's a link. Another thing I do with the assignments is I make screen tutorials. I work with language learners, so when I want them to do the task, then I just upload these to YouTube. You can do it with a lot of free ones, Jing, Screener, things like that are free. And then I show them how to do the actual assignment. It doesn't take me that long at all. See the screen tutorial. You want your students though to, okay, so far a lot of the stuff I've shown you is information that I put. So you might be thinking, well, how do I get my students to start producing work? Which is very important. So one of the things that you can do, is use the different types of widgets. Right here, I used Wall Wisher. All my students, what they had to do was they had to, okay, so first they were going to watch this video, and then after the video, they were going to write down their goals. So for task 2, it says write a goal on the Wall Wisher. Really simple. Each of them, notice how each of them put it on the Wall Wisher. So different things like Wall Wisher, you can even, there's free whiteboards that you can add. There's different ways so that students can contribute to the wiki through widgets, types of widgets, and Wall Wisher is one of them. So if I wanted to add to this Wall Wisher, all I do is click post a sticky, and then they'd be able to add it. So that's one way to get the students. Now this is Wiki Spaces, okay? Wiki Spaces, it doesn't give you as much freedom to make the template. And notice how everything's in the left. Buttons are in the left. You want new page, then you click on new page. But one thing I do like about Wiki Spaces is that you have this discussion button. Now, the discussion button is great if you want to, a place for the students to add discussions. A better example of this is actually something I do with my high school students. They interacted with in the U.S. So this is Wiki Spaces, a different type of free wiki. And to make this one better, I went ahead and I made this Wall Wisher, this Wordle, to kind of make the header look better. Now, you can see all the discussions that were added here. This tells you the last person who replied, so Local Turkey replied. These are all by the kids. The kids made all of this. So all the things here in different widgets. This was made, they made this mind map. The mind map will actually take you over here, and if you click on it, it extends. So you can see all these topics, they click it. This is all from the wiki, and they're the ones who did this. So this is one of the widgets. Let's see, something else the kids did. One of them did a Voki. One of them embedded this interactive timeline that they made themselves. One of them had embedded a Fodi image. It's not showing up right now, but they did that. So notice the kids, all their goal was this was their topic, Manifest Destiny, Oregon Trail, and they could do whatever they wanted with it. So one of them made a Go Animate movie right here. Another one did a PowerPoint and uploaded it. So the students were able to use any type of widget, documents, anything they wanted to do. One of them did a Glockster. So there's so much that you can actually add to the wiki through the widgets. And that's why I really like wikis. Here's a little quiz that one of them created. So there's just so much that you can do. I'm going to go ahead and now go back. So let me stop sharing this. And then try to answer some of your questions. Okay, so let me do the documents. If you have a question, if you could go to the bottom left-hand screen and just click on the little guy raising his hand, and then I'll give you the mic. And I would love for you to ask me questions on the mic so I can hear you talk. If you want, you can ask me about mobile learning. That was the last presentation that I had presented on, which was with the iPhone. But I'm also adding Android apps to that, so I'll be adding more. And actually, if you'd like to contribute, you're more than welcome to contribute links and stuff. Um, you just go to the top of the wiki and it says add me to the page, and it'll send me a request, and then I'll do that. So you can always do that. Does anybody have any questions? You can type in your question as well. Another thing that is very important with wiki spaces, PBWorks is much easier, that it automatically doesn't have the ads, but with wiki spaces, you have to make sure, and let me make sure I give you the web address for how to sign up for them. You have to make sure to do the educator account, because if you don't do the educator account, then you're not going to have you'll have ads on your wiki, and you don't want to have any ads. I think ads look very unprofessional. So, and educators, it's free accounts, and it can be adless. So that's definitely something that to make sure that you do. Okay, all you have to do is go to the wiki, and I'm going to go ahead and share that with you right now. It's technologyforkids.com and pbworks.com, and then Wikis. Here we go. So that's the web address right here, and that's my email if you have any questions. And if you have any, I know I showed it to you really quickly, but if you have any questions during the process of actually creating the wiki, or you want to use any of the templates, because there was different templates that I showed you, just let me know. You're more than welcome to use my templates. I don't mind at all. I know it saves time, so whatever saves you time, I'm very, very, very okay with you copying my stuff. Well, Vivian, if you want, you can just type in the question, and then I can answer it. Oh, and this will be recorded. Yes, this will be recorded. Well, thank you all so much for coming. Yes, it is free for educators. It's also free for nonprofits, and it's free actually even for commercial purposes, but you get ads. So if you're doing it for educators, make sure to do the educator account, which is in the technologyforkids.pbworks.com wikis. Even for the wiki spaces, it's there. There's other wiki spaces you may have heard of that are free. Web Paint is one of them. I found that PBWorks and Wikispaces are the easiest, so that's why I showed you those. Oh, thank you all very much. And I will see you next Friday, hopefully, for cooperative learning. And if you're in the US, don't forget to change your times. Okay, so